Crossing the Danube. There's the Vienna
traveling
woods.
with your own. You're going through
Austria's
wine country,
bread
part of their wine
basket.
country, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But just to explain a bit how the European Union influenced not only agricultural preeminence over the departments of agriculture of the various countries, what they decided to do was apportion so many acres of corn to the countries that could grow it and not let anybody have too much. And the reason was they didn't want any one country to have dominance, but also if there was a drought or a disaster in one country, it might affect it, that had all the corn, then it would affect everybody else. So they thought we need to spread all this around. So what had been, years and generations of families growing corn was no more, and they gradually had to change. I mean, it wasn't like just next season, obviously, but they still had to. So that was a major stretch.
Now
And
we're
they
in
remained wiped out for
wine-growing
quite some
area.
time, and there was in order to encourage people to buy native-grown Austrian wines, he gave the vintners permission during specific seasons of the year to sell wine at their vineyards. People could come directly to them and buy them. And so he created a very Austrian type of wine selling experience called a Heurigen, Heurigen. And this practice continues to this day, both commercially and privately. Short version. Many people don't know that many countries have a long formal version. Short version, and this is Czechia. It's called the Czech Republic, but it's also appropriate to call it Czechia.
Dr.
Along
Doolittle
with the
Fire
dragon
Center.
beside it. This is Excalibur. And if you look through the signs, you can see a knight of the round table holding balloons which hold up the ceiling. The casino, did you see it coming behind the Freeport export outlet? The casino is back behind us to the left. And then, look left, and you will see a jet airliner, which is also a cafe.
Oh my.
Okay, here's the dragon. So, there we go. So this is our rest stop. Milan is going to go in. Now, when we go inside, make sure you make sure you take pictures of Xenia, warrior princess, who is standing 10 feet high.
Museum of Bricks. Village in Czechia. We just crossed the border. Still mostly farmland. And the EU has decided what crops they can grow in certain areas. Quite a big city here.
Znojmo.
That's what I saw. Village in Czechia.
Most
Less than 25%
part of this
belong
is due to
to an
communism, part of
organized
it is
church
just
here
due
in
to
Czechia.
religion losing its luster for many, many reasons. So nowadays, it's not really a determining factor at all. In some families, of course, it is, but not so much.
All the roads we've been on this trip have been great. Haven't seen a pothole, a field crack, anything. Wonderfully smooth. There's traffic, mostly trucks, but none right now. And very pleasant. We got off the 4-lane highway because of an accident up ahead, and this is our detour. But still, the road is in wonderful condition. And we get to go through the little villages and closer to the fields. I like it. He thinks that's Prague in the distance. We're still out here in farmland.
It was black and grimy. As we're going by, make sure you look at the individual heads above the arches. These are Art Nouveau, individually crafted heads. That facade is really something else. And then look at those heads again. More heads. This is just a beautiful building. And that's the main train station. Were floods. The floods were so bad that the arches on the ground floor were covered with water. That was the Vltava River. And when you came back afterwards, one of the worst problems they had were because the flood came up through cellars and up through the subway, the subways had mold and it reeked and you could not walk past the They just stunk so bad. Barges, that were moored, or houseboats that would come loose and crash into the bridge. And what the army did, I mean, talk about thinking on their feet. They took tanks and took steel cables and took the houseboats and anchored them with tanks on the land. It was really something. The beautiful domed building here, the Faculty of Sciences for one of the universities here. If Prague is known as City of 1,000 Spires, just beyond it you'll be able to see the 2 towers of Tinsky Cathedral. It's called the City of 100 Spires. There's actually a lot more spires.